At the center of centuries of cultural conflict, economic development, and a raging international drug war is coca, a small tropical bush native to the South American Andes Mountains or present-day Peru, Colombia, and Bolivia. The U.S. crackdown on narcotics in the mid-20th century catalyzed a major shift in the cultural meaning of the coca leaf to the Andean people. What was once a beloved fixture of Andean society and the lifeblood of South American economic development became a symbol of centuries of colonial oppression and economic stagnation. Coca has held a privileged place in Andean culture for thousands of years. One centuries-old religious myth surrounding the leaf tells of a God-sent devastating flood that left the world barren save one coca bush. The ancestors of the Andean people were sustained by the leaf's mysterious strength-giving juices. The coca plant was seen ever since as the connection between humanity and Mother Earth. In fact, ancient tribes would stuff sarcophagi with coca leaves to ensure a safe trip to the afterlife. Similar to a Japanese tea ceremony with its own rules of etiquette, coca leaf chewing was a social ritual enjoyed during special occasions such as visits from guests, weddings, and births. At the same time, the coca leaf's mild, stimulating, and hunger-reducing properties, similar to that of caffeine, made the coca leaf a useful nutritional supplement. Although still important for special social occasions, coca leaf chewing quickly became an important ritual enjoyed several times throughout the workday. In the mid-19th century, however, the coca leaf quickly gained worldwide attention. In 1855, German chemist Friedrich Gaedtke discovered a way to separate the cocaine alkaloid from the coca leaf, thus avoiding the loss in potency that occurred when the leaf was transported. Research quickly emerged on cocaine's value as an anesthetic, and by the 1880s, purified cocaine was the darling of the pharmaceutical industry, used to treat everything from opium addiction to impotence to depression. Thanks to its stimulating properties, cocaine made its way into dozens of consumer products, from cigarettes to popular beverages. Andean leaders saw an opportunity to exploit the international demand for coca and bring South America into the modern world of economic prosperity. By 1900, Peru was the leading exporter of coca and crude cocaine. Now, in addition to being a religious tool, social custom, and everyday staple, coca was a symbol of hope and economic opportunity for the Andean people. Unfortunately, this new prosperity was short-lived. As cocaine use skyrocketed, so did news of cocaine addiction and overdose. In 1903, Coca-Cola removed cocaine from its formula. In 1914, the Harrison Narcotic Act banned non-medical cocaine use, and the demand for South American coca sharply declined. Coca-producing nations soon faced international pressure to end production and consumption of coca. The 1961 UN Single Convention on Narcotics condemned both cocaine and the coca plant itself, setting protocols for destroying illicit crops and phasing out traditional use of the coca leaf within 25 years. Threatened with international trade embargoes, the Andean nations were eventually forced to agree. This had major effects in Andean culture and marked a turning point in coca's cultural meaning to the Andean people. The demand for coca from the soft drink industry hardly enough to sustain the Andean economy, the illicit drug trade replaced the once thriving legal coca industry in Peru, Bolivia, and Colombia. International law now portrayed the coca-growing peasant of the Andes as a criminal, and faced with immense pressure to provide for themselves and their families, they became dependent on foreign cash flow from drug trafficking. A stigma arose within South America against the coca growers, who were now considered responsible for the drug cancer that took over the South American economy and reduced South American prestige worldwide. Despite attempts to reintegrate traditional coca chewing into society, a stigma also arose against the coca leaf itself. It was considered by many Andean people to be a symbol of colonial oppression, dependence on foreign nations like the U.S., and backwards indigenous traditions that prevented Andean culture from moving forward. Over the past few decades, however, the cultural meaning of the coca leaf has been slowly shifting once again as a result of modern indigenous movements. Just this year, Bolivia was successfully readmitted to the UN's Anti-Narcotics Convention after persuading member nations to recognize the right of its indigenous people to chew coca leaves. If this small victory is any indication, the coca leaf's cultural meaning seems to be coming full circle and returning to its place as a cornerstone in Andean culture.